Hello, good afternoon, and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our peer support workshop today entitled Keeping Yourself Mentally Fit During a Pandemic. So today we will be discussing / identifying a few tips to help manage stress, facilitate self-care, and access local community resources. So thank you everyone for coming to this once-in-a-lifetime first experience webinar for us. I just want to say a quick thank you. This has been made possible due to our funders. We ask that you please hold off on questions or comments until after the presentation. We will do a question and answer period at the end of the information session. Saying that, if you have any questions that you don't want to forget, please put them in the comments, but we will do a question and answer period at the end. So please, we are not ignoring you. I'm just going to do that all at the end. Meet your facilitators today. So we have Miss Bianca. She's a mental and sexual health professional. You have myself today, Amber, a personal wellness coach and community advocate. And we also have Julia with us today, who is an SSW placement student. So the three of us today are going to be walking you through our Keeping Yourself Mentally Fit During a Pandemic presentation today. All right, so in this webinar session, we are going to share some information about the following. So we'll just give you a brief outline about what you're going to be learning, what you're going to be seeing, what you're going to be doing today in the presentation. So the first thing we're going to talk about is COVID-19 and mental health. So we'll go over some of the ways that the pandemic is affecting many people. I don't know about you, but it's definitely affected me in some ways. And it's important to recognize how it's affecting us, because it's only when we recognize we can move forward in how to attack the way it's affecting our mental health. Number two is healthy coping strategies and how to cope with COVID fatigue. So we will share tips and strategies that you may find helpful in managing stress and mental health. So again, we're going to identify what's going on. We're going to figure out ways and strategies to manage that stress and mental health. The third thing is we're going to look at the 8 domains of well-being. So we will go over the different domains that contribute to a holistic well-being. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today, but not least, of course, is the useful resources and local supports that you guys will be able to use. So we'll go over some of the useful resources and local supports available to you. All right, are you guys all ready? Thank you, everyone, again. Just thank you once again for everyone who's shown up to this online presentation. We're excited to have you guys all here today. So going on to part 1 of our presentation, the impacts of COVID-19 on mental health. So as more measures and restrictions are introduced in an effort to reduce the number of people infected with COVID-19, many of us has been forced to make drastic changes in our daily lives and routines. So just some of those changes are working from home. Our social lives, we don't have our sports, we don't have our knitting clubs anymore to go to face-to-face. Friends and families are hard to come by. Hugs are hard to come by. So those are just some of the ways that our lives have changed. The new realities of working from home, temporary unemployment, homeschooling of children, and lack of physical contact with other family members, friends, and colleagues take time to get used to. Adapting to lifestyle changes such as these, and managing the fear of contracting the virus, and worrying about people close to us who are particularly vulnerable, are challenging for all of us. They can be difficult for everyone, but especially for people with mental health conditions. So right now, being worried and anxious is perfectly understandable. We can break down what's happening by looking at the psychology of anxiety. There are 3 big predictors of how stressful something is going to be. So number 1, how predictable is it? Number 2, how much we can control it. And number 3, how important it is to us. So again, I'm just going to say that there are 3 big predictors of how stressful something is going to be to a person. So again, how predictable it is, how much we control it, and how important it is to us. So with COVID-19, we've got a situation that checks all three boxes. Check, check, and another check, okay? There's a lot we don't know. We have relatively weak controls. So again, hand washing, physical distancing, those are the things that we've been told in order to help us during this time. But sometimes I just feel, is there anything more I can do? Is there anything more? And it's really important, even lethal in the worst case. So we shouldn't be surprised at our heightened reactions. While any changes to our regular definitely challenging because news of the pandemic is virtually inescapable and there's no clear end date. It's all over the television and social media. I close my social media because I can't listen to it sometimes. If we're used to feeling pretty good, the fear of what if I get sick can shake up our confidence. On the other hand, if we already experience less than optimal health, the current climate can ratchet up pre-existing anxiety or stress. So let's see here. All right, I think we're going to put up a little diagram here. So this here is a study. Study is the word I want to use, right? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. This is a study here of how Canadians are describing their mental health during this pandemic. Okay, so one of the reasons why we want to put it up here was to show you guys that you guys are normal. If you guys are worrying, if you guys are anxious, if you're grateful, if you're bored, if you're optimistic, you're depressed, normal, untroubled, numb, pessimistic, these are all emotions that are okay and are being felt by not just you guys. So you're not alone, and we want you guys to know that. Living in extraordinary times that may be leading to increased feelings of stress, anxiety, and fear. These are normal reactions to challenging situations. However, sometimes these feelings can overwhelm us and hit a tipping point where it impacts our ability to function. It can lead us to stop doing the things that we know are good for us. It can lead us into poor habits, and it can impact our thought in a negative way. So once again, we just want to let you guys know, it's okay to not be okay. All right, and that's the name of our next slide here. I've heard it a lot over these times, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no, you have to be happy all the time. What are you talking about? No, you don't. It's okay not to be okay. Everyone is unique and everyone responds differently in different situations. So what you need to understand isn't what's normal, and I put that in air quotes, but rather what's healthy for you. As we're being asked to constantly monitor our physical health, are we coughing? Is there a sore throat? Do we have a fever? I don't know how many times you guys have been asked that when you go into a store or a restaurant lately, but I've been asked a lot. But it is easy to overlook our mental health. But in fact, it's more important now more than ever. Keep an eye on how you're feeling or what might trigger negative responses. If news and social media are causing you to believe that everyone else is juggling competent demands better than you are, shut down that computer, close your phone, kick over your iPad. If the news cycle is causing your stomach to clench, turn it off. If your kids are resisting a rigid routine, focus on manners and kindness and forget the mess. So once again, it's okay not to be okay. All right, so flags for seeking professional help. So right now, it's important to look for these flags, not only for other people who are in your life, but also looking inside of you, okay? And it's something that I've done a lot over the last 8 months. I've been looking inside of myself, checking in with myself just to make sure that I'm doing okay. But flags that you want to look for, and these flags might lead you in the direction of professional help, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're thinking of thoughts of death or suicide, if you're unable to function in roles, So maybe you're used to be able to, you were super mom, but now you can barely get out of bed. Occupation, you love your job, but now it's taking you everything it possibly can to get out of bed in the morning to do that job. If you're feeling sad or down most days, if you're drinking more, especially if that drinking comes with negative impacts. You also want to consider if history of mental health disorders. And the last flag for seeking professional help is burnout. So a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive distress. And I can guarantee there are lots of you out there right now who are feeling burnout in multiple different ways, whether it be burnout from work. Nurses right now are having a huge burnout in our hospitals. Moms and dads, huge burnout when it comes to parenting their children because our children have never been home from school before. So these can be just different signs that when you see them in yourself or you see them in others, just take an extra look at them and see maybe we need to take that extra step. And again, there's nothing ever wrong with that. Taking that extra step. Because everyone, this is not business as usual. The last time this happened was 100 years ago, and I'm going to guarantee, no, I'm not going to guarantee, but I'm going to guess that a lot of us weren't alive 100 years ago. So we've never been through this. We've never done this before. And saying that, because this isn't business as usual, we want to make sure we're really looking at empathy and understanding. We're changing productivity expectations, again, for yourself and for others as well, okay? Also, a clear need for direction and prioritization. We aren't working from home during a pandemic. We are staying safe at home during a pandemic and trying to get some work done. So I know a lot of people have been thinking, oh, well, I'm at home and I'm still doing my work. I should just be able to do it. Well, no, it's a new environment. You're at home now doing your work where you used to have an office. And lots of adults around you. Now you maybe have your child, or maybe 2 or 3 children. Maybe you have your dog barking at home. Maybe you have yourself living all alone by yourself. This isn't business as usual, so we want to make sure, be empathetic towards yourself and others. Be understanding. Again, change your productivity expectations. You know what? Maybe if you did A to Z pre-COVID, doing A to S, pretty darn good to me. Doing A to B, pretty darn good. But you just need to make sure that you guys look at what's happening in your life. And again, just be empathetic, be understanding with yourselves. All right. So now, fortunately, there's lots of things that we can do to look after our own mental health and to help others who may need some extra support and care. And we are going to look at these things in our next part of the presentation.
Healthy coping strategies in combating COVID fatigue. We're going to go through a few strategies that help support your mental health in this section. So just to list a few. Acceptance. So really learning and practicing acceptance, whether it's for yourself or external environmental circumstances or anything out of your control. That's really important, especially right now. Challenging negative thoughts. We'll get into that a little later. We're going to limit our intake of stressful information. So if that's you staying on CP24, watching it all day, then maybe that's a good habit to get out of. Take a break, go for a walk, have some fresh air, turn it off, but still remember to stay connected. So that means maybe virtually or over a phone call with friends and family. Anything to really help you feel like you still have meaningful connections in your life without putting yourself at risk or in danger. We want to practice proactive health management behaviors. So again, taking a walk outside, eating a little bit better and staying away from the drive-thrus like I've been doing. We want to focus on what we can control rather than what's out of our control. So that, again, like comes into part of the acceptance thing, right? What can we do that's within our power? What can we control? What part of our environment, of our surroundings can we change to help ourselves? And what can we not? And then we're going to deal with good coping versus bad coping, and that'll be later on. So challenging negative thoughts. Just to mention a couple common thought traps, we have catastrophizing, black and white thinking, and emotional reasoning. So negative thoughts such as predictions, worries, or even catastrophic thinking are normal when we feel anxious. The key is addressing them properly, and there are 3 basic strategies. First, ask yourself if your negative thought is realistic. To bring your thinking more in line with the facts. Seek out information from reliable sources. Of course, recognizing that only time will tell is the hardest but most effective strategy. Second, see if you can challenge your negative thought with a healthier alternative. For example, instead of saying this is awful, try this is a challenge, but I've overcome lots of challenges in my life before. Just make sure you don't replace negative thoughts with unrealistically positive ones. Like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be an Instagram model with 1 million followers. That's a little far-fetched. But I mean, 500, that might be doable. So thirdly, you want to try to use gentle, more compassionate language with yourself. In other words, talk to yourself like you'd talk to a best friend. Be aware of your negative thinking, but don't beat yourself up if you don't conquer it every time. Consider saying to yourself, there's that horrible thought again. Oh well, it's reminding me to be concerned. I'm still going for my walk to take care of myself, though. Sometimes turning our thoughts to others is the best remedy. Humans are social animals, and we all need to contact and support. Send a few "Hi, I was thinking about you" texts or emails. You might just find yourself feeling better as a result.
I'm just going to pop in there real quick. That's actually one thing that I noticed a lot of our mindsets. We go, well, how can I message them? Because they haven't messaged me. But sometimes, it does take kind of stepping outside of that little comfort zone and maybe sending those extra text messages, and they might make you feel better. Because you know what, maybe that other person who you're sending the text message, maybe they're really struggling to send that text too. And if you can make that first step, and I know sometimes it's really, really hard, but if you can make that first step, maybe you'll make 2 people's day. And how awesome is that?
So taking it easy on yourself is really important during this time. Everyone handles things differently. Everyone's plates can hold a different amount of, food, or we want to remember that. And nobody's suffering is either more or less valuable than anybody else's because of that. So it's important to remember that it's okay to be not handling things well, because a lot of people aren't. Like Amber mentioned, this is very new. These are extreme circumstances that no one that's alive right now has gone through. So yeah, it's really important. And like we mentioned earlier, we want to get together with friends and family virtually, whether that's FaceTime, Zoom, disconnect from social media and news stations occasionally. And, watch something funny, do something you really enjoy. That'll bring a little laughter to your life and lighten up your load a little bit. Developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system is key when it comes to self-care.
And yeah, I'll just jump in there again. It's as you said, it's really important because during this time when we're being told we can't see each other face to face, we're all freaking out. Like, what do you mean? That's how we've done it forever. Right? And it is. That's how we've done it forever, and it's worked really well for us. But it's been kind of cool. I don't know. I've done some cool things. Like I've done drag shows online, and I've never been able to do that before. And I've met some cool people over this quarantine period. So, got to take the good with the bad, and we have to, acknowledge the bad stuff. But yeah, let's focus on like the good that's really coming out of this. So, it is possible to have those support systems in place, even if you live alone, even if you don't have a lot of physical social interaction. It's still possible.
And with regards to self-care, it's really hard work sometimes. We tend to deprioritize ourselves and our needs, especially if we have families or friends that we feel need to be taken care of more importantly than ourselves, right? We're facing stressors rather than avoiding them. That's really important because the way you face your stressors too is gonna kind of dictate where you go from there, right? And where your kind of thought processes go from there. Um, Intentional practices that support well-being, mentioned earlier, staying connected with your friends, making sure hygiene, because I know there've been some days where I just stay in my pajamas for 2-3 days, watch bunch of reruns. So I mean, just having that routine, making sure it's not like normal, but it's normal, really key. And self-care doesn't have to be luxurious and costly because many forms of self-care are free. You don't have to go to the spa and blow $1,000 on a facial. Well, I mean, it's hard during COVID, but you don't have to go out on a shopping spree and spend $1,000 on Amazon for retail therapy. You can have a bath or just listen to some calming music for 5 minutes or a walk or anything.
I was gonna say, so my self-care every Sunday, so I call it self-care Sunday, and I wash my hair, I blow dry it, and I curl it. And it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But that's my self-care right now because, we're not spending a lot of time going out and doing our hair and seeing people, but I wanted to make sure for me that I was doing that, and it makes me feel pretty and fun, and I smell good at the end of the shower, so it all works. So yeah, that's just one way that I do it, but that might not be someone else's way, and that's okay. And we all just need to find what best works for us. So it's a center, and this is a nice little poem. So you must hold your quiet center, where you do what only you can do. If others call you a maniac or a fool, just let them wave their tongues. If some praise your perseverance, don't feel too happy about it. Only solitude is a lasting friend. You must hold your distance center. Don't move, even if earth and heaven quake. If others think you are insignificant, that's because you haven't held on long enough. As long as you stay put year after year, eventually you will find a world beginning to revolve around you.
Allow yourself to be still for a moment and start breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Don't worry about how loud your breathing is or if anyone can hear it. And there's no need to try and ignore any noise or distractions going on around you or to try too hard to clear your mind. Imagine yourself as a rock in the middle of a stream. All the noise and commotion that may or may not be going on around you just washes over you without having any effect. Focus on your breath. Think about how anything that has negatively affected your day up until this point. And with each out-breath, you are simply going to imagine any unnecessary stress these events are causing you to feel just ease away. Breathe in and observe how you feel. Breathe out and feel it easing from your mind. Now, still breathing deeply, take a moment to visualize how you want the rest of the day to go. Imagine achieving any goals and successes at the end of the day and how that will make you feel. Create a mental picture of what that looks like and take a moment to play that out in your mind. Whenever you're ready, bring the exercise to a close and open your eyes.
Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the 2-minute meditation exercise. You guys, meditation is really, really, really helpful. So I would suggest go online. There's 1,000,001 different meditations on YouTube that are all free. So that's what, as Bianca was saying earlier, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't need to cost a lot of money for self-care. Literally, a Wi-Fi connection and you're good to go, everyone.
All right, so back to practical coping strategies. I hope everyone's feeling good after that little meditation. And again, there's tons of these things out there that are free on YouTube or audiobooks or anything. It's just any kind of guided meditation is really helpful. Could be music, could be chimes, could be nature sounds, could be anything that you find that works for you. But it's really important to at least, like, you know, clear your head for a couple minutes, once a day, once a week, whenever, just to recharge your batteries. Now, when you're feeling distressed, ask yourself, do I need to change my situation or do I need to find a better way to cope with the situation? Then you can decide which type of coping strategy will help you proceed. In other situations, problem-focused coping may involve more drastic measures like changing jobs or cutting someone out of your life. Here are some healthy examples. So emotion-focused coping skills, that would be like around the top. So you can take a bath, you can give yourself a pep talk, meditate, go for a walk. Whereas problem-focused coping skills would be more of solution-based. So working on managing time, getting a schedule, a routine, asking someone for support, making the appointments necessary, establishing healthy boundaries, whether that's with your family, with your friends, anyone really. Trying to think of who else would you have to partners, dogs. My dog needs to learn healthy boundaries. Creating a to-do list, just anything that's really solution focused. Some more examples of emotion focused coping skills. You can spend time in nature, take care of your body in ways that makes you feel good. So paint your nails like Amber mentioned, do your hair, put on a mask, use a relaxation app or try meditation like we just did. Aromatherapy, journal writing, cooking a new meal, gardening, giving yourself a pep talk, going for a walk, listening to music, or listing things that you feel grateful for. In other situations, like problem-focused coping, we could ask for support from a friend or a professional, create a to-do list. We already went over these. And yeah, I don't know, Amber, anything you want to add?
Just that essentially it's important, as we've given you guys, you know, 1,000,000 different resources here. We're like, you can do this, and we're going to get into more. But what I want to leave with everyone is that if you take anything away from here, take 1 or 2 things. Okay. You don't need the whole presentation. The whole presentation is great. You can soak that in and live the whole presentation. You're rocking it. But it's not always possible. And especially not during these emotional, wild times, as I call them. So make sure you guys find that 1 or 2 things that's really going to make you feel good. And again, I've already said this, but it doesn't mean, you know, so for me, exercise has become my form of my counseling, my therapy. But I know it's not for everyone, and that's okay. It's okay not to be the same. That's what makes us an amazing world, is that we're all different and we're all special. So just make sure that you guys find what works for you. If you start journaling and you realize, I hate this. This is stressful and this is not fun. Stop right now, because that's just going to make you stressed more. Find what works for you and do that. Love yourself, okay? Love yourself. All right. So from there, part 2 done. On to part 3, the 8 domains of well-being. So there are 8 sides to this story. All right. Well-being is about much more than physical health. Here, it's an 8-dimensional balancing act that, when maintained properly, leaves us best able to cope with the adversities through resilience, build rewarding relationships, and live with a sense of purpose. People often think about wellness in terms of physical health, so nutrition, exercise, weight management, but it is so much more than that, okay? And this is something that I really put out there as a health and wellness coach, is that nutrition, exercise, it's great, but there's so much more to wellness than just that. Wellness is a holistic integration of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, fueling our bodies, engaging our minds, and nurturing our spirits. Although it always includes striving for health, it's more about living life fully and is a lifestyle and a personalized approach to living life in a way that allows you to become the best kind of person that your potentials, circumstances, and fate will allow. Wellness necessitates good self-stewardship for ourselves and for those we care about and who cares about us. Wellness encompasses 8 mutually interdependent dimensions. All right, so number 1, physical. Number 2, intellectual. Number 3, emotional. 4, social. 5, spiritual. 6, occupational. 7, financial. And 8, environmental. So that's right, everyone. There's 8 mutually interdependent dimensions of wellness and well-being, not just physical health. Okay, so that's really important to remember. Attention must be given to all of them. They do not, however, have to be equally balanced. You should aim instead to strive for personal harmony, is what we like to call it, that feels more authentic to you as an individual. We naturally have our own priorities, approaches, and aspirations, including our own views of what it means to live life fully. So just before we go into these, some person might say, well, my job's my life. Like going to work every day is that's what I love. It's what fuels me. It's what gets me up in the morning. I love my job. I love the money I make from my job. Another person might say that I go to work to make money, not to have fun. And I like my job, but that's not my well-being. I love to go play hockey. I love to play hockey. That's what really gets me going. Like that's what pushes me and motivates me to be happy. So just wanted to kind of show there that everyone's different, and that's okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is emotional dimension, and I'm going to toss it over to Bianca.
All right. So in our emotional dimension, we really want to focus on understanding and respecting your feelings, values, and attitudes, appreciating the feelings of others, managing your emotions in a constructive way, feeling positive and enthusiastic about your life. So mind-body techniques, breathing exercises, meditations, these are just a couple short examples. Another exercise I really, really enjoy, and we do a lot with couples in therapy, is gratitude ping pong. So where you take turns with your partner telling each other 5 things that you're really grateful for or happy to have in your life while trying not to repeat each other's answers. So for example, you're sitting having coffee in the morning or even at the end of the day, whatever you do to unwind or before you start, sit with your partner or your cat. Well, I mean, they can't really give it back, but anyone, or even phone call. And just kind of, for example, like Amber, I'm super grateful today. Instead of, thinking about how crappy the snow is to drive in, wow, everything looks beautiful. The lights are amazing. This is a great time of year. I'm thankful that I have a warm home to live in and, food in our fridge. And, I'm so happy that and thankful for your amazing attitude and your helpfulness. And I think that was 5 things. I think so. And then just she would have to reciprocate and she wouldn't be able to choose any of my answers. So do you want to give it a go, Amber?
Oh dear. Put me on the spot. Now I'm like nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I feel so bad. Well, I'm I was like, are we making up fake things? Are we doing really? I'm like trying to like think about it can be tough, but I think it's important because what I see all the time throughout the whole world, even pre-COVID, is that we focus on the negatives like it's no one's business. We focus on the drive-through guy who gave me the wrong order. You know, we focus on the dude who cut me off. We don't focus on the 16 other times that the McDonald's drive-through gave me my right order. We don't appreciate, you know, the years that I've gotten to and from work with no one cutting me off and not getting into an accident. It's really, really easy to focus on those negatives. So doing what would you call this? So doing stuff like, gratitude exchange, like doing stuff like this is going to make you start thinking more positively. Because again, and I know it because I've been there and I've been working really hard at trying to change your mindset because it actually helps overall. But change it from thinking about all those negative things and move it into the positive things. Because yes, we know negative things happen, but we don't want to get stuck on them because then that can just be really heavy for us. All right, so our next dimension is our social dimension, social well-being. So maintaining healthy relationships, enjoying being with others, developing friendships and intimate relations, caring about others, and letting others care about you. Also contributing to your community. So again, this is just like developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system, which is very, very important during this time. And even though some of us might think that, well, what do you mean? I can't be social. I can't go to the bar. I can't go to, you know, my friend's house. We're not allowed to get together. We just have to be more creative about how we form and keep these support systems. So whether it's get together with people virtually, I've had a lot of Zoom call meetings, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, like everything. We've done everything online now. Try to connect with at least one friend or family member daily. So again, that's just checking in. Stay connected via phone or video calls for more meaningful engagements than texting. Join or start an online book club. Meetup. There's like 1 million book clubs on Meetup. So go find something there. Play online games with others. I know so many people love gaming, and you can build a really cool community in online gaming, and or use a streaming platform that allows you to watch with friends. So Disney Plus right now has live sharing streaming. So you and your friends can be at the comforts of your own home, comforts and safety of your own home, while still watching a movie together. So it's definitely possible to keep our social well-being up during these crazy times, and it's important to do so as well.
Our next dimension is the intellectual dimension. So with that, we want to grow intellectually, maintain our curiosity about all there is to learn, value lifelong learning and responding positively to intellectual challenges, expanding knowledge and skills while discovering the potential for sharing your gift with others. So for that, that's really focusing on your noggin. We want to keep our brain, our big, beautiful brain muscle moving. We want to keep it working, whether that's math games on your phone, reading, hobbies and crafting. You want to keep stimulating that part of your brain and keeping yourself going. And also a lot of these things are great distractions too. So not only are you intellectually stimulating your brain, but you're also distracting yourself from watching CP24 forever and ever like I do. But really anything. And it's not limited to, say, math and reading. You can learn a new musical instrument or check out learning new languages. All of that can be really rewarding and transferable even.
Yeah, podcasts have been my thing lately. During this COVID time, I said, well, I can either be really sad or I can do something with this time. So I've been reading a lot of podcasts and it's been interesting. It's been a kind of cool experience. So I can't say I totally hate it. All right, our next well-being, a dimension of well-being is environmental well-being. So this is understanding how your social, natural and built environments affect your health and well-being. So being aware of the unstable state of the earth and the effects of your daily habits on the physical environment, demonstrating commitment to a healthy planet. So this is essentially just good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being. So whether that be tidy or declutter a space in your home, change your bed sheets. I know, like, you don't realize how long you go without changing your bed sheets until you haven't changed them in like 4 or 5 months. But again, it's the simple little acts of changing your bed sheets can make you feel a whole lot better. Open up a window, go for a walk. Walking is really awesome. Yesterday I had 31,000 steps on my step counter and I was so excited. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there because I was so excited about it yesterday. Add fresh flowers to your grocery list. Bring some plants into your home. Light a candle. Diffuse essential oils or burn incense. All of these are examples of how we can affect our environmental well-being.
Our next dimension is occupational well-being. So in this section, it's mostly focusing on work stuff. So preparing for and participating in work that provides personal satisfaction and life enrichment that is consistent with your values, goals, and lifestyle. Contributing your unique gifts, skills, and talents to work that is personally meaningful and rewarding. So in this section, we want to kind of reflect on what gives us a sense of purpose and meaning, especially through our work and stuff that we do. We want to also reflect on how we help others and the personal satisfaction that can give us and the sense of connection that comes from it.
All right. On to our next one is financial well-being. Managing your resources to live within your means, making informed financial decisions and investments, setting realistic goals, and preparing for short-term or long-term needs or emergencies. Being aware that everyone's financial values, needs, and circumstances are unique. So one thing we don't want you to do here is stop comparing yourself to others. We're all very, very different. And I mean, in any of these sections, really. We've kind of talked about that at the beginning. Don't compare yourself to others. Do what's best for you. So yeah, in this area, we want you to be able to have the ability to have financial resources to meet practical needs and a sense of control and knowledge about personal finances. So some things that can help improve this dimension are create and maintain a budget, especially during these times. We totally understand that, you know, some people have either lost their jobs or they've been laid off for the time being. So having a budget right now, more than any time, I think is super, super important. Track your spending, curb online shopping, even though that might be the only way to shop for a little bit, but it's really, really easy to just sit at home with our phones or computers and pile a bunch of stuff in our carts and send it off to our house. But when you're not looking at your bank account that way, you got to be careful. Set bills to auto pay to make sure that you guys are not missing any bill payments. Find ways to self-care that are free or inexpensive. So again, we've said this before. Make your self-care something that isn't going to cost you a lot of money. Self-care doesn't mean you have to spend $1,000 to go to the spa or, you know, a couple $100 out for the night. It can literally be washing your hair. Washing your hair can be your self-care. Declutter your space and list things on Marketplace and limit your food waste. I know, oh my God, I don't know how many times I throw out food in my kitchen, but I shouldn't because yeah, it's just wasting money. So just being aware of these things is the first step in order to be able to tackle them.
Our next dimension is the spiritual dimension, and that focuses on really finding purpose, value, and meaning in your life. And that's with or without organized religion. It's really participating in activities that are consistent with your beliefs and values. And also that can be your connection to nature or connection with family members. Can people find that spiritual? So some examples, we can go out for a walk. We use that one a lot today. And practicing self-peace. So that next one, setting your phone to airplane mode so you're not distracted by notifications. Sometimes even just doing that for a few hours a day and allowing yourself to, and giving yourself permission to really have that peace and that quiet for a couple of hours is really, really important. We want to engage in activities that align with our personal values and beliefs. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean going to church if you're Indigenous, and that means going out for a walk and collecting and foraging and stuff, and that's a little more natural and more spiritual for you, then do that. But you can also pray, meditate, spend time in reflection, see if your place of worship is offering virtual services. That's a big one right now, considering a lot of places are going into lockdown, so that's something you can look into. And also see if you can help others in the community. So being altruistic, because that really, really helps our sense of connection and helps us feel good about ourselves when we do nice things for others, especially those who are in need. So like the elderly or the immunocompromised neighbor, or anyone.
All right. And our last well-being dimension is a physical well-being. So this is, caring for your body to stay healthy now and in the future. It can include things like, so a lot of people, when they talk about physical well-being, a lot of the times people hear getting skinny. And that is not it at all. Physical well-being is way more than that. It's things like maintaining a daily schedule or routine. Take a walk outside or do an indoor workout. Try online fitness videos or classes, yoga, dancing, stretching. Make sure you guys eat well. It's really easy to sit on the couch and eat chips, eat candy. Also, have fun with hygiene. Try out new masks and bath soaks. Also, make sure you guys sleep. Sleep is really, really important, and a lot of us don't get enough of it. And especially during these times too, our sleep can be really interrupted. It can be just difficult to sleep during these times. But making sure that you guys have like a bedtime kind of thing, getting into those routines, you'll be amazed at how much it affects your physical well-being overall. All right, folks. Well, there was section number 3, and on to number 4, useful resources and local supports. All right. So there are lots of different resources and local supports that you can use within our community to help you during these times. So the first one is Durham Alliance Outreach CARES free calming kits. So what's a calming kit? So these calming kits are used to refocus the mind, body, and soul into a place of well-being. These kits are put together with various items that allow you to de-stress from feeling overwhelmed, sensory overload, anxiety, and other feelings of discomfort related to things going on in a different direction from what's anticipated. So you can see there we have a link for you guys to go on if you guys want more information about receiving one of these free calming kits. I'll say these calming kits are used in a lot of different like therapy practices. A couple of years I was in a therapy program, and it's one of the best things ever. If you can't get one of these kits and you want to make your own, honestly, stick anything and everything in there that you've wanted to do as a child. You'll be a kid in a candy store, and it's a lot of fun. It brings us back to that just childful days where we didn't have any worries, no stressors, no anxiety. So these kits can be really, really fun. Again, there's Play-Doh there, and you're like, I'm an adult. Adults don't play with Play-Doh. You'll be so happy that you played with that Play-Doh when you're feeling stressed. So this is just a little resource made available by Durham Alliance Outreach in order to keep you less stressed during these times. All right, so the next thing we have here, Durham Alliance Outreach, we've just opened it up last week. So this is a very new program for us, but we're so excited for it. It's our free counseling sessions. So in response to emerging issues surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, Durham Alliance Outreach is pleased to offer counseling services with a community mental health professional. These services are available free of charge to Durham Region's LGBTQ community members in need of counseling and that do not have access through benefits, insurance, or other funded programs. There's limited spots available, but again, the link is right there. And again, that's just another resource that you can use here in our community when you guys are feeling a little bit stressed, a little bit overwhelmed. And again, it's totally okay to feel stressed and overwhelmed. Even people who you think are sitting at the top of their game, who look like they might not be affected by this, I can guarantee you they're feeling stress and anxiety in some way, shape, or form. So please don't ever feel uncomfortable, nervous, silly, stupid, any of those words. Don't ever feel like that when you want to come get help or when you need to come get help, because the help is here for a reason and we want you guys to access it. All right. So other helpful resources that we have. So we have Healthy Minds Canada. So the Healthy Minds Canada is when something is wrong. The Healthy Minds Canada When Something is Wrong handbook provides useful information for teachers and families on a variety of mental health problems. They also provide a variety of online mental health resources. We've also got Canadian Psychiatric Association. So they provide downloadable brochures on a variety of mental health topics. Canadian Psychology Association. They provide, again, downloadable information on a variety of mental health topics. We have Mental Health Commission of Canada. Teen Mental Health. So this website is dedicated to helping improve the mental health of youth by the effective translation and transfer of scientific knowledge. It includes a teens and families page where anyone who is interested can learn more about adolescent mental health and the teen brain. We have Ontario Centre of Excellence for Children and Youth Mental Health and the National Network for Mental Health. So these are all resources that you guys can use before, during, and after COVID.
We also have the Teen Mental Health. This website is dedicated to helping improve the mental health of youth by the effective translation and transfer. Oh, we just did that one. Whoops. Now we're on the right slide. Okay, so local supports. These are really important. So if you guys, I think we're going to make this slideshow available after the presentation, and you can print them off and highlight whatever numbers you feel like would be useful or transfer them to your phone, because most of them are really important. We have the Stress Center. We have the Suicide Abuse Crisis Mental Health Beds Center. We have the Oshawa Durham Rape Crisis Center. We have PFLAG Canada Durham Region, and we also have Pride Line Durham, and these are all LGBTQ allies.
So then we also have Children's Mental Health Ontario Centres, Hope for Wellness Helpline, and Talk for Healing for Indigenous women. We have Bounce Back, Connex Ontario, Distress and Crisis Ontario, Together All, Good to Talk Helpline, LGBT Youthline Ontario, and Crisis Service Canada. So again, these are all local supports in your community, in your backyard, ready, willing, and able to help you during these times. Now, sometimes I will say you might have to go to a couple different of the supports, and that's okay. But if you don't get the help that you want and or need from the first one, don't get discouraged. Go to another one. Okay, there's lots and lots of resources out there for us in order to be able to use, and especially during these wild times.
It's also really important to know when these supports aren't appropriate to you when it's more appropriate to call 911 in emergency situations. So if you believe that you cannot keep yourself safe or you are experiencing a life-threatening emergency, please call 911 or go to your nearest ER for assistance, and they can help you there. If you have an emergency, just call 911.
And with that, so yeah, not only for you, but also, so if you do, like, whether you live with someone or whether, you know, you're just talking to someone over the phone, a friend, a family member, or you see, yeah, that's right, you see someone online, or maybe you don't see someone online now who's been going online a lot. These might be times where it's appropriate to call 911. Because the one thing I'll say, and I'll speak from experience, a lot of the times if you see someone and you think that they might need a little bit more support, sometimes we get scared. Well, will they get mad at me? Will they be my friend afterwards? Like, are they going to be mad that I called to get them help? It's better to get them help and have them living than to not get them help and have them dead. So yes, they'll thank you for it one day. So yeah, make sure that you guys use that resource if needed. And with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you again so much for everyone who came online today and listened, participated. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us via our live online right now. So you can either post them in the question comment area below, or you can, if you don't feel like you can put it out in a public forum, you can confidentially email us, and we will definitely love to be able to support you in whatever way that we can. So we're actually just, we're seeing some of your comments / questions coming up on our board here. And I'm loving it.
Thank you so much, Facebook user.
So once again, if anyone at this time has any questions, awesome. So we'd like to see more mental health online workshops. We're in the process of that. We're working on it. We want to see lots more too, trust us.
And if you guys want to like send us an email of what kind of mental health workshops you'd want to see more of, like whether that's managing anxiety, whether that's, you know, managing depression or anything in specific. What are the credentials of the person running this group? Well, I'm Bianca. I'm currently a clinical sexologist, clinician. I did my undergrad in human sexuality studies and gender issues at York. And I did my master's of sexology at Curtin University in Perth, Western Australia, which I just recently graduated in 2018. So I'm still very new, but I'm very versed and very, yeah. Sorry, I guess that question kind of threw me off for a loop a little bit, but
essentially,
yeah, if you have any further questions too, feel free to email me or message me or contact me directly, and I can tell you the scope of my practice and give you my, I guess, membership accreditations. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other question. Or yeah, Amber, you too. What are your credentials? Sorry.
What are my credentials? So I am a health and wellness coach. So I'm doing that online right now. I have a diploma in police foundations and a degree in criminology and justice, where I did my capstone paper on LGBTQ homeless youth. So yeah, that's kind of my background. I'm also a community advocate here in our community of Durham region. So yeah, I guess that would be my credentials. What about you, Julie? Well, tell us and we'll tell them. And Julia is our amazing social service worker student. Oh my God, say that 5 times fast. I don't think you can. So she's the up and coming. She is the up and coming, like, oh, fabulous over there. All right, everyone. Well, once again, thank you so much for participating in this peer support online workshop. We are very excited to be able to put this on today. As you guys have stated in the comments, you guys want to see more of this. So tell us exactly what you'd like to see more of, and we will give it to you 100%. Other than that, have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, and until the next time.